Hello and welcome to Warblog. Today we're going to look at the Battle of Karameh, Jordan, Middle East, 1968. Essentially, I'm pretty busy, and it's been slowly becoming further and further behind development-wise, and sort of it's toughy to figure out, and to be honest, I can't actually remember what the plot is. How did I get here? Basically, Battle of Karameh is actually one of the first parts of the Jordanian Civil War. So, I mean, just to sort of make it easy, why don't I Google Jordanian Civil War? Jordanian Civil War. I was looking at my Boswell's Book of Battles. What is it? It's my favourite book. Anyway, I was in the bath reading it, and I thought, hang on, I've not done that one. The Jordanian Civil War. But this is the one of 68. Let me just do that. Jordanian Civil War 1968. 1968. So what's this part of? See, that's how far behind I am on this, because I can't even figure out how I got here now. It's not part of 1971. I haven't got my book with me because I'm somewhere else. And okay. Essentially, Jordan, I think, was pretty much heading into some kind of strife. And these people here, who are the Palestinian Liberation Organization, were sort of causing a problem. And so Israel wanted to basically stomp on them. But Jordan sort of figured that Israel was building up, and so they built up as well. And so you have this sort of build-up of two forces on either side. So this is obviously Jordan, and this is the river with the border along it, and this is Israel. Now, if we go into play mode, that's interesting. I think I know what it is. What you'll see, and this is really interesting, is there are four bridges. There's the Damir, which is David Bridge, the Ashura Bridge, the Allenby Bridge, and the Abdullah Bridge. And so the Jordanians could see them sort of building up, and they put troops next to basically all the bridges. Now, what's a bit odd about this, again, one of the problems with doing these sort of more historic ones, you've got to be a lot more on the ball to actually get the plot right and figure out what's happening, whereas when you do these more modern Syria-Iraq games, you just sprinkle some units on liberally and it's good enough. But here it's quite complex and fiddly and sort of exactly how things happen, but basically, and we're combating the Wikipedia article as well, which essentially is not much use. I mean, no, it's pretty good, but the sort of it's quite limited, and I'll tell you why to some extent. I mean, basically, it's not a long article, and I've sort of read it, but it's just a bit too long for me to read in my current sort of really extra busy sort of frame of mind. But basically, it sort of says at 5:30 a.m. on the 21st of March, the Israeli forces attacked simultaneously on 3 bridges. Combat engineers built a pontoon bridge, etc., etc. So the sort of, okay, that's fair enough. But when you look at the map, they go across the bridges. What's the point in building a pontoon bridge if you're going to go across the bridge? And what's the point in building a pontoon bridge next to a bridge? So either these bridges were blown up and didn't exist, or the Israelis built a bridge slightly further downstream or something like that. So you can sort of see here the Jordanians are sort of defending at this bridge. So why not build a bridge there, or there, or there? I mean, if you've got pontoon bridges, why are you going to build them exactly where the enemy is expecting you to try and get across an existing bridge? Now, I did sort of think about it and try to figure it out, and I just don't know. I maybe need to read more about it. Maybe with time it will come, but I did sort of think, well, maybe the reason why was because these were not big bridges. Maybe they were footbridges. But even that doesn't make a lot of sense, to be quite honest, because if you look at the Wikipedia article, it's actually got the Damia Bridge there. And so that looks like a pretty sturdy bridge, but maybe that was the original bridge there. Or is that the pontoon bridge? You know, so we don't really know. And these big earthworks look as though this, you know. So if this was actually what was happening, I mean, you would have thought it would be a lot harder to build this little pontoon bridge than use the existing bridge. So, or build it downstream, or whatever. So, so that's sort of a bit of that. So anyway, so you end up with these engineering units. Now I put that one there simply because on the first turn you can deploy your bridge into that spare hex. I put this one in there so you can build it into that hex. You know, now this one I put there. Now you could put it into that hex or that hex. I didn't realise they were deployed quite like that. But they don't get across this bridge. They don't get across here. So the forces here are quite weaker. Also, the order of battle is a bit skew with, and as I say, I'm not on form with for interpreting all of this, so I wouldn't say it's a great effort. I like the map, but I think I have to figure out the actual proper order of battle and things like that. So, but these ones fail. They get sort of fired on, and they really can't build their bridge. Now, the thing that, from a gaming point of view, I don't know what happens if you try to build a bridge into this hex. I think it will work. I think I can pretty much do that, and build my bridge. I haven't tried it yet, so, and if that's the case, then perhaps what I should do is remove these bridge hexes. But if I remove these bridge hexes, you won't know there's a bridge there. So it's all a bit sort of, well, you know, you have to build it in a bit. So there's a bit of a game fiddly-widdly bit there. So that's that. And now essentially the whole objective here is to take this place here. I'm just going to pause it because I really want to know what the genesis of this was, because this is actually not, it's not an Israeli-Jordan war. It's something, the Jordan War, Jordan's Civil War or something. I'm just going to pause and actually try and find it. Okay, I've figured out how I got here. As I said, I was reading up on the Jordanian Civil War because I thought, oh, hang on, I haven't done anything with that. And as ever, it here it is, and I sort of read down here, and the first thing I saw was the Battle of Karameh. The Jordanian Civil War was until 1970, so I will sort of try to do this because this is what I was doing, and this one was sort of part of it, but it's actually part of a broader Arab-Israeli war, part of the war of attrition. But basically, it says that yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. So anyway, that's where it sort of came from. That's the Black September article. So it's obviously you know, slightly later. So that's the sort of background. So regardless of its fitting in history, I'm sure we can figure that out at a later stage. They need to take out this place because it's got the PLO in there, and Jordan is obviously pretty sort of geared up to sort of take that on. They start off, it's only a one-day event. They start off by landing some paratroopers around here. Now they say up to a battalion, but when you look at the drawing, it only says a company. So they got in fairly easily there. So it could be that really don't want to be landing this many units in there. Maybe that was enough. Maybe it should have been just one. I mean, the numbers look pretty good, but I mean, you know, if you consider what's here, they're not. So anyway, they want to take that place out there. And as we've sort of intimated, there's 4 bridges. They don't attack across this one, but they attack across the David Bridge, and by building another bridge, as we've already sort of pointed out. They attack across the Allenby Bridge and sort of head towards Shunna, and then so they're trying to get a pincher movement basically from north and south onto Karameh. They also want to come across at the Abdullah Bridge, but they fail to do that. So now, if you actually sort of look at the little drawings that they've got, I won't show you again. You can sort of see where they got stuck, but I think that's sort of one of these sort of things that wasn't quite planned. It was more reactionary, and you wouldn't be able to sort of do that. So basically, we've got the core forces, and the core forces are the 80th Infantry Brigade. Now, a brigade is multiple divisions in my calculation. So up here you've got more of the 80th Brigade, so they're sort of split amongst these 2 places here. And down here we've got the 7th Armoured Brigade. And they come across here and sort of try to head up this way. So here's the 80th coming down this way. Yeah, the 80th. And it sort of, it doesn't mention the other one, but the Jordanians are said to have spotted also the 60th Armoured Brigade, so I put them there. So you've got the 60th there, you've got the 7th there that sort of goes straight through. Now what you've got regiments, and obviously the front stuff here. These don't have this sort of breakdown, but then you've got this stack over here, which is pretty big. I mean, look at all that. But what you realise, and we've got some spare engineering units, so we've got engineers there, and engineers there, but I've given you another one, and to be quite honest, you could probably build bridges all day long. Yeah, we've still got a few minutes left, 1 minute, 15 seconds. These units here, though, are devised because if you actually look at the map, and considering how pear-shaped everything's gone away, I might as well bring the map back. They split up. They come across here. The 7th Brigade comes across here. There's some paratrooper brigade also comes up this way. So this is there's a recon company. So I have given these reinforcements. So you do get the rest of the battalion, which is one more company coming on from here quite late on. But the 7th Brigade come along here, as you can see. But then they come through these forces here, and what happens here is more reactionary. They split off with an Eton platoon. You know, we don't even go down to platoon level. We've got the Shimshi company and the Plada company. But you know, that's a sort of because of the situation. So I'm not doing that. But in order to replicate the ability to split up and start, you know, doing little fine things like that, you've got all of these companies and battalions, and they look a lot, but when you add them up, they're not quite regiments. You know, in order to get a regiment, you know, you need Well, that's a battalion. You